contrast and what were the similarities to Gordonston?
Difficult. I've only been 3 nights at Gordonston attending a round square conference, which was held at Gordonston with all various members of schools, and I don't know. Say it again, anyway. Put it in a different way.
Sure. How did JC see his school's participation in the round square? What was similar?
Oh, we were already much bigger by then. JC, first of all, when he came, when I joined him in Villars, he picked me up. I came to Villars, never having been to Switzerland, took the cogwheel train up from Bay. He picked me up in, I can't remember, I think it was a Lancia, slightly old-fashioned Lancia, and drove me down to La Gentiana, opposite Clermont, beside Clermont. And there, for the first term, we were in La Gentiana. And there was one other boy called James Farmer from the Argentine, who is still alive and living in the south of England. And I'm vaguely in touch with him. He didn't get married, and I think he's a bit of an artist, and I haven't seen him for about 5 years, but occasionally we send a Christmas card or something. There was James Farmer, and then from then on we started getting more and more students, and on it went. And one of the students became Minister of Transport, I think, in Canada, and is still around, named David Anderson. He was a great camper. I used to go camping a lot with him up at the Vine, the Mover on, and so on. And I think that I can't think of anything more, Steve.
Well, there are so many questions people have about why there were certain parts of the curriculum. For example,
Yes.
How would he describe the importance of meditation? Did he actually sit down with you and start the process?
No, I have no recollection of that at all, but I listened to his meditations. We were very few of us at the time. We were at the Chalet les Évêques, which is just off as you ski down below the Golette. It is a large chalet on the left, very ancient chalet, but large. And we were there for the first couple of terms. First term was in La Gentiana, next door to, we were only about 5 boys. And that was next to La Gentiana. It's a pension. Second term, I thought I was going back to La Gentiana. John Corlett picked me up again in his Lancia and said 3 days before he'd made a contract to join up with a school called Minerva, which is at the road, the lower road at Villars, the lowest road, and it was demolished about 3 years ago. A large, unattractive concrete building, which I think was demolished about 3 years ago. You would have known it, Minerva. And that we filled up. There's a joint headmastership with John Corlett and a friend. Fred, no, the friend was a bit of a scoundrel, a scamp, I think, but it was a convenience. And then John Corlett decided to set off himself, and we went to Le Chalet les Évêques, which, as I say, is on the left of the Piste, towards the end of the Piste, the Populaire. Huge place, and it belonged to a Mr. Bishop, a Scotsman, who had, I think, 2 chalets. He lived further up himself. We lived there for a bit, and then for a couple of years, we had Michael Hipsley, who I knew at Stowe School, and he came and joined me, because he was quite famous, because he was a boy who never stopped sneezing.
Oh.
His name was in the papers and everything like that, because they could not stop him sneezing. Well, it was a sort of reaction when he was unhappy. We eventually, Corlett discovered, first he discovered Michael would sneeze. I know Michael very well, and he still contacts me every few months. He's got his second wife and so on. And John Corlett found that it was really, he was discontent, and his way of saying he was discontent was to sneeze. And he didn't want to join national service, which everybody had to do, apart from myself, because my parents were living in Portugal, so I got out of it. And Michael Hipsley, when he heard he had to do military service, he started sneezing. Not intentionally, but never stopped. His picture was in all the papers. Anyway, he's a good friend now. He's got his second wife, and they're living happily in Scotland. And occasionally, he was here 3 years ago skiing with me. And Connie, his wife, no, his second wife was not. Anyway, anything else?
Yes. Where did you think JC got this idea of educating the whole person. And
I think Kurt Hahn, who was this German, I think he was naturalized British, he was probably a Jew, and he was, I think, the first headmaster, and possibly the creator, I'm not sure, of Gordonston. Kurt Hahn, he's a very well-known name in the educational world. I never met him. Perhaps he was dead already by the time I joined up with JC, I don't know. And Kurt Hahn wanted the whole man, and spoke about the whole man, and probably introduced meditation. But I'm not sure. I know JC said at Gordonston they had cold showers in the morning, and that Aiglon was going to do the same. And I think probably meditation was one of Kurt Hahn's